this sight, he ordered Chiumo to be called, and pointing to Marziella, asked him whether he knew that beautiful maiden. Then Chiumo, recognizing his sister, ran to embrace her, and in the presence of the king heard from her all the treacherous conduct of Troccola, and how the envy of that wicked creature had brought that fair fire of love to dwell in the waters of the sea. The joy of the king is not to be told at the acquisition of so fair a jewel, and turning to the brother, he said that he had good reason to praise Marziella so much, and indeed that he found her 3 times more beautiful than he had described her. He deemed her, therefore, more than worthy to be his wife, if she would content to receive the sceptre of his kingdom. "Alas, would to heaven it could be so," answered Marziella, "and that I could serve you as the slave of your crown. But see you not this golden chain upon my foot, by which the sorceress holds me prisoner? When I take too much fresh air, and tarry too long on the shore, she draws me into the waves, and thus keeps me held in rich slavery by a golden chain." "What way is there," said the king, "to free you from the claws of this siren?" "The way," replied Marziella, "would be to cut this chain with a smooth file, and to loose me from it." "Wait till to-morrow morning," answered the king. "I will then come with all that is needful, and take you home with me, where you shall be the pupil of my eye, the core of my heart, and the life of my soul." And then, exchanging a shake of the hands as the earnest money of their love, she went back into the water, and he into the fire, and into such a fire indeed that he had not an hour's rest the whole day long. And when the black old hag of the night came forth to have a country dance with the stars, he never closed an eye, but lay ruminating in his memory over the beauties of Marziella, discoursing in thought of the marvels of her hair, the miracles of her mouth, and the wonders of her feet. And applying the gold of her graces to the touchstone of judgment, he found that it was 24 carats fine. But he upbraided the night for not leaving off her embroidery of the stars, and chided the sun for not arriving with the chariot of light to enrich his house with the treasure he longed for, a mine of gold which produced pearls, a pearl shell from which sprang flowers. But whilst he was thus at sea, thinking of her who was all the while in the sea, behold the pioneers of the sun appeared, who smoothed the road along which he has to pass with the army of his rays. Then the king dressed himself, and went with Chiumo to the seashore, where he found Marziella. And the king with his own hand cut the chain from the foot of the beloved object with the file which they had brought. But all the while he forged a still stronger one for his heart. And setting her on the saddle behind him, she who was already fixed on the saddle of his heart, he set out for the royal palace, where by his command all the handsome ladies of the land were assembled, who received Marziella as their mistress with all due honour. Then the king married her, and there were great festivities. And among all the casks which were burnt for the illuminations, the king ordered that Troccola should be shut up in a tub, and made to suffer for the treachery she had shown to Marziella. Then sending for Lucetta, he gave her and Chiumo enough to live upon like princes, whilst Puccia, driven out of the kingdom, wandered about as a beggar, and, as the reward of her not having sown a little bit of cake, she had now to suffer a constant want of bread, for it is the will of heaven that he who shows no pity finds none. End of chapter 23.